Ladies and gentlemen, now today the King of Fighters collaboration has arrived on Global, and with it there's a pretty good stack of free stuff available, but it's all like very scattered throughout this event. So today I just wanted to do a video guide just to show you where all of the stuff is and kind of point you in the direction of how to get the 46 free tickets, and if you use those correctly and save up for multis, that's going to be 50 free summons. Unfortunately, 4 of those tickets are kind of clowned away, so it's a maximum of actually 50 tickets you can get in the game, but each one of the final tickets requires you to be lucky on the KOF banner and pull one of the associated units. So if you're very lucky, you can get 55 free summons, but for most people it's just going to be 50 free summons, so 46 tickets available. So the tickets, so 5 of them were given away just before the launch of this event, I believe on Saturday, via logging into the game. So that's the first 5. So if you missed out on those, unfortunately, the total is going to be a bit less. Now, via the login calendar for the next 2 weeks, you can see today, tomorrow, and the day after, that is a grand total of 10 tickets there, and also it's exactly the same next week as well. So via the login calendar for the next 2 weeks, there are 20 tickets available, so that brings us up to 25 there. And then if we have a look for the next 10 tickets on top of that as well, if you open the KOF event, right at the top you're going to see special missions, and all of these are very easy to do. It's like clear the story quest, reach Hawk Pass level 5, do the Athena's gift card 10 times, which is super easy as well. Also clear one of the normal arcade missions and check in 3 times as well. So doing all of these, which you should get done in the next couple of days as well, is an additional 10 tickets, so that brings us up to 35 there. Now on top of that as well, playing the King of Fighters Britannia arcade mode, and this is available once you've done the story. The world quest for this event is going to give you these stamps, and via the exchange store you can get 10 additional tickets. They're like 30 stamps each, so it's going to require like a little bit of grinding to get all 10 of these, but again, these are kind of valued at like 3 gems per ticket there, so it's a really good trade-off. Plus, like doing the arcade stuff as well, there's so much really good stuff in there. We're going to circle back and talk about this a little bit later, but the total amount of gems available via all the arcade stuff is 26. So you'll see like certain clumps have like 5 gems as a reward, but on top of that there's also like engraving stones, cosmetic materials, SSR pendants, anvils, a couple of hammers as well. So yeah, there's some really good stuff, and all of this stuff adds up very nicely there. But yeah, the arcade mode is pretty fun as well. Like once you get into it, I actually warmed up to it a fair bit more the more I played it. But also on top of that, we also have the additional world quest stuff as well. So to access this, I think that probably the easiest way to do this is to go to challenge tasks, then go to events, and then if you go to world quest there, you can see the progress of everything. So there are certain objectives and tickets that are locked behind acquire a certain character. So again, these are the 4 that most people aren't going to be able to get unless they get very lucky on the banner in their limited tickets. So you know, there's probably a good chance that you actually get 1 or 2 additional of these bonus tickets. But there's also ticket number 46 via just clearing the story as well. So once you've cleared the story, if you go to quest and then events, then you can find this to claim the additional one. And there's also additional Athena's keys as well, and Athena's keys is kind of like the bonus gacha fun event that comes with this. And the rewards to Athena's key warehouse thing, man, are pretty ridiculous. They're really good. There's actually a part 2 SSR ticket up for grabs later on it, but you need to be very careful when it comes to Athena's warehouse, because when it comes to it, you only have the ability to select one of the gifts that you want to go for, and then it's like randomly hidden in. So yeah, if we have a look, if you get to, I believe it's like stage 9, you get the choice between 5 gems and a part 2 SSR ticket, and I highly advise that you go for the part 2 SSR ticket on this one, man, because I would say that's a fair bit more valuable than 5 gems, but again, it depends exactly what you get from the ticket as well. But personally, I'm still holding all my part 2 tickets until Droll gets released into this one, which shouldn't be too long from now. But yeah, I'm really not too sure on that. Again, if you need Red Dairy, there's certainly no harm summoning if you do want to Try your luck for her. But again, a part 2 SSR ticket in there is very, very nice as well. But there's also like a part 1 ticket and loads of additional costumes for Athena and stuff like pendants as well. Here, I'd probably choose like the 5 gems over the 2 SSR pendants, but you know, you have the choice per stage to make the decision based on exactly what you're after. But yeah, this one is really good. And the way that you get keys for this is via doing the story quest, like certain missions in there, but also you can gain up to 20 per day via doing free stages and also Fort Solgris as well. So yeah, it's going to be very easy to get these keys, and in all honesty, with the availability of them, you probably want to clear out like all of the rewards before moving on to the next stage, because again, it's going to be very, very easy to get every single reward, kind of like the spinners that we've been used to. The roulette wheels, you know, you can finish early if you do stumble across the jackpot reward. And again, the first jackpot reward is 3 SSR pendants, so it's really, really nice there as well. But if you notice you're getting quite low and you've got some rubbish stuff remaining, then you can always skip ahead. But to be fair, you get so many keys that you might as well clear it all out, in all fairness. So here, I'm actually going to go for a controversial choice, but the hammers. But if you are, a lower geared player and you do value the anvils, a little bit more, those are not too bad to go for. But as a whale, like, the hammers are more valuable just because I want to have perfect rolls on everything, and hammers are just, you know, still really rare and very hard to come by. So yeah, in terms of like what you want to do when you start tackling this event, again, the most important thing to do first is the world quest, because if you open up this interface, you're going to find like everything is pretty much locked until you do the world quest, and then that unlocks the arcade mode style of gameplay and also final boss Omega as well. Doing the world quest is also going to give you 11 gems, also a part 1 SSR ticket. There's a few pendants, a couple of 5-star awakening stones as well. So the bundle of stuff for doing it's pretty good. However, some of the later ones can be a little bit challenging because you need to use some of the King of Fighters characters, and I think some of the hardest missions are probably like the Meliodas and Barn one when you get to the final of the tournament. But my advice is target Meliodas first, because he's very annoying if you do leave him alive there. But yeah, that one's a little bit tricky. But once you've done that, you also unlock final boss Omega, and this is a final boss you need to make sure you do, because again, the shop stuff is really, really good for this one. There's all the pieces for Omega. You've got an SSR costume and also the attack and health pieces that I've already brought, but also all of the usual stuff that you'd expect with a final boss. I think with the exception of the anvils I think are the only thing that's not in the store here. But yeah, there's some different stuff also in the ranked rewards as well. If you are somebody that's looking to get Omega, and Omega's really, really good, man. He's just crazy character. For the top 30% as well, they've also added in some costume enhancement materials, but also a second pair of combat gloves for Omega Rugal as well. And this one has 3% pierce on. So again, if you're like serious about these collab characters, you need to make sure you get top 30% on this final boss. Very, very important. And even if you just get like top 50%, you still get 30 gems, man. So it's a really, really good stack there. So 30 gems via that. Also top 15% is the 150 anvils and the 10 hammers. So yeah, it's always worth trying to get top 15% on any final boss that you possibly can, but especially this one. And also in terms of like general teams that are working well, again, I did a video a little bit earlier on this team. The team that Shogun is using, the Kyo instead of Gotha team, is overall definitely a little bit better than Gotha if you do have Kyo. This team on the Japanese version, I think, got about 6,600, 6,700 total score. However, on the Japanese version, there was Super Awakening as well, which inflates the score a little bit. And we've got like the same difficulty boss, but without Super Awakening. But the team that I'm using here, just for demonstration as well, these are all coin shop units. So Gotha, Red Demon Meliodas, and also Red Zeldris is going to be available in the coin shop next week for 10 platinum coins. But kind of the biggest scoring criteria to keep in mind for final boss Omega is the amount of health that you have remaining at the end of the fight. So that's why everybody's using Twigo as well in a mono red setup in order to maximize hit points there. So, you know, just something to keep in mind if you are going for final boss Omega. But also on top of that, there there is also the scoring rewards as well. So the more score you get, the more it fills up this meter. So there's a little bit of gold, a couple of SSR pendants, there's 3 additional gems there as well, and also a Part 1 SSR ticket at the top. There's actually quite a lot of Part 1 SSR tickets throughout the scope of this event. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff knocking about there. But yeah, on top of that, again, via the world quest, you get 11 gems, final boss and mega. There's a total of 33 gems. And when it comes to the arcade mode style of gameplay, which is kind of like, in a way, reverse stages to a certain extent, because whenever you go to any stage, you are restricted to only using the characters that it does offer you. So yeah, you can only bring in those characters, and I understand for some players on some difficulties, that's going to be very limiting, and you might not be able to do everything here. So again, that's a little bit of an annoyance, but a lot of these characters, again, they do have dual uses in terms of like either training cave or reverse stages as well. So stuff like the Weird Fangs, you know, they're good characters to upgrade because they can have a lot of value in this event, but also in reverse stages season 1 and 2 as well. One thing to keep in mind as well when it comes to the arcade difficulty, normal and hard equipment stats are not applied, but when it comes to the extreme version, equipment stats are applied. So you need to make sure when you enter this one, I'll just, you know, ditch a coin to show you guys how it works as well. When you load up your characters, you do have the ability to mouse over and also add in the equipment that you desire. So make sure before like starting one of these on the hardest difficulty, you've actually got your equipment equipped on the characters. Again, you can't have associations for this, but you can use food. So if you are a little bit low, then you can use combat class food or attack food or health food or alt rush food or lifesteal food, you know, depending on what you believe will be best for the mission and matchup. So, you know, just something to keep in mind there when it comes to the most difficult version of that. But also on top of that, there is a bonus event as well to win PvP matches. So this one, I believe, is like 15 wins every single week that you need to get for week 1 and week 2. So on average, it's like, 2-3 wins a day. So 3 wins, you're going to get an SSR pendant. You can see we've already got that. 6 wins, you get 2 engraving stones. 9 wins, and this one, man, is definitely one to strive toward. A bare minimum is 100 anvils, then you got 3 hammers at 12, and you've also got 3 gems at 15 wins. And then at week 2, there is, the pendant again, engraving stones, a couple of hammers, there's also 3 gems, and another Part 1 SSR ticket as well. So again, there are so many Part 1 SSR tickets throughout this entire collaboration. Also, one thing to keep in mind, for the next 14-15 days, we have the Salvage Up event and the XP Up event as well. So if you need 5-star Awakening Stones, like farming SSR gear, and then +1ing or +5 and then salvaging it, is going to give you a much greater chance of getting 4-star and 5-star Awakening Stones. So yeah, if you need a lot of those to build like a base kit of gear or kind of upgrade a certain set, then yeah, this is really, really important to keep in mind as well. And also, if you need to level up characters for box CC, again, you've got a very high chance to get like 150% or 200% bonus. So yeah, make sure you factor that in when putting XP potions into characters as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the King of Fighters collaboration event. Again, there's lots of stuff that really ties in together quite well with this one, and just keep in mind via the arcade mode of gameplay as well, there's costumes for Gotha. I think even if you don't have the Halloween Gotha, you can get these costumes. So if you still need like cosmetics for your red Gotha, you can get an additional hat and weapon there, and also additional cosmetics for Athena, one for Maya as well, one for Kyo. Again, the Omega cosmetics are via the final boss Omega, and there's also additional growth stuff here. We've got demon materials, we've got some cosmetic upgrade materials as well, a few Awakening Stones available via stamps, and yeah, a few other bits and pieces as well, and also a full Awakening token if you do want that for any character in particular. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that really comes together quite nicely with the King of Fighters collaboration event to make hopefully the next couple of weeks quite rewarding for most players. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on the King of Fighters collaboration in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy the breakdown today, please do smash that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, thank you all very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.